WOVU LP Cleveland.
Stand up.
Issues out of black and white. Let's concentrate on right and wrong.
And now, our voices today.
Why are we led by our pride?
Hello and welcome to the program. This is Our Voices Today. Thank you, deep baritone voice. I gotta find out who that is, the Our Voices Today voice guy, because I gotta say thank you for always bringing me in with grandeur. You know what I'm saying? It's TC Lewis here with you on this fabulous day. WOVU 95.9 FM. Make sure you always remember that we are available on the radio, online on our website, WOVU.org, and of course through that wonderful, precious gem of a thing, our mobile app. Just go to the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to download that to your delicious, precious, appropriately useful mobile devices, whether it's your smartphone, your tablet, smartwatch. Do we put apps on smartwatches? Yeah, right? Yeah. I have a legal mind in the studio, so I'm always I can consult legal counsel on my various comments, So anyway, we're having fun here, as we always do. I hope that you have had the opportunity to drink some clean water and get hydrated, eat some healthy food, and I hope you got good rest the night before so that we are thinking positive and productive thoughts as we move through the universe in this moment. And, we're excited. We're excited for summer. We're excited for, all the usual stuff. A lot of things coming up this weekend. First of all, party in the parking lot. Don't forget that. July 17th. There's events at the Box Spot this weekend. Big Fin Weekend is happening. It's free. It's music. It's local artists. It's a part of a big thing that's coming together. Our shout out to our friends, Jada Renee, boss lady of Indie Media and Affinity. Also the head of her own record company or label, right? That's what they call them, right? Labels. Okay. And and so you can see that showcase this weekend, this Saturday at the Box Spot, starting at 3 p.m., 3 to 11, we'll be over there, and lots of good things coming up. Don't ever say that there's nothing to do in Cleveland, because we always are planning 15 different things on the same day, y'all. So there is never an excuse. Any weekend, especially during the summer, you got something to do, and a lot of the stuff is free. So get out there. And how do we find out? Well, you can listen to WOVU. You can get on the Google. You can, social media information abounds. And so you could ask your neighbor. We don't even talk to our neighbors that much anymore. Yeah, let's knock on the door and ask your neighbor what they know about what's going on around town. Because you don't have to leave this town to really get down. So right here in Cleveland, we turning it up. It's summertime, y'all. But make sure, so many stories that I've been hearing lately about COVID-19 experiences. One in particular, a young person told me that they came down with COVID-19. Of course, they survived because they lived to tell the story, but their health and well-being majorly impacted because COVID ravaged their body in a way that left 25% of their heart dead. 25% of their heart tissue is dead. So what do our hearts do? They pump the blood through our body, make sure that, nutrients are spread around to different organs and things like that. Blood is important. Pumping hearts are important. So this person has to monitor that for the rest of their life. And so it's not just about not getting COVID, but it's also about not dying from it. It's also about, recovering in a way where you can be as normal as you were previously. So I encourage you to get the vaccine, whether you believe it's going to turn you into an alien. I mean, you be alive, right? You be alive to be an alien in our human population. Okay, I'm going off on tangents here, but I'm just saying, like, listen to people. That's all you need to do. Listen to people. So many people have been affected by this illness in tremendous ways. Remember the story of our own general manager, Jay Williams, in a coma for 60 plus days. And to come out of it and find out all these people have been affected, man, what a shocker, right? But you don't want to have to go through that. So I just encourage you as an individual, and of course all of us here at WOVU and Burton Bell Carr, want you to stay safe, because you're not only protecting yourself, but you're protecting the rest of the community. And, like it or not, once you get the vaccine, you can still get COVID, okay? But you just won't die from it. And you can still get sick, but you will not die. You will live to see another day. So go ahead and get those vaccines, what they were saying, shots in arms and things like that. And if you have any questions, you can always call your regular physician. You can even call us at Burton Bell Carr, 216-341-1455, 216-341-1455. The gates are up and the doors are open over at Burton Bell Carr. They are back in person, in business. So listen, if you've been missing out on the lovely faces over there, go ahead and ring the doorbell. They're going to let you in as long as you have your mask on, because these variants are tricky out here, y'all. So anyway, go get the vaccine. So I am happy, though, that you have survived that little bit of rambling. And we are embarking upon another edition here on Our Voices Today. Another edition of Life and the Law with our friends from the Legal Aid Society. Another dynamic attorney in the studio with us. Remember, you can check out Legal Aid Society online at lasclev.org, lasclev.org. And you can also call 216-687-1900 if you have a legal issue that is anything outside of criminal. It's got to do with employment, safety, education, any of those things and more. You can call Legal Aid if you need some help, if you need some advice. That is what they are here for, especially, if you are in an economic situation where you may not be able to just walk into a law office and request help. Go to Legal Aid Society, lasclev.org, or call 216-687-1900. Shout out to my friend Aaron over there for helping, create these wonderful segments here on WOVU. And so with that, I want to go ahead and introduce, what we are actually talking about today. But first, let's hear from our newest legal aid friend. Anastasia Elder is here with us. Do you put Esquire at the back of end of your name?
Anastasia Elder is
Anastasia Elder. Well, she is a wonderful attorney, knowledgeable, and certified all the way through and through. And she's a boss in her own right. So I'm happy to have her here with us. We've been just chopping it up a little bit, and I've gotten to know Anastasia. So for our listeners, let's get to know you a little bit too over the air. So tell us a little bit, about where you're from, why you decided to get into law. You're a young Black woman attorney. Talk to us. Share your journey a little bit.
Yeah, thank you, TC. Good morning, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. As she stated, Anastasia Elder. I am from the Cleveland area, native to Cleveland. I grew up on the west side. Woo-woo.
Yeah.
I came back to Cleveland to get my law degree and to practice law. I just had a genuine love for people and wanting to make change on a broader spectrum. And I thought that law is one of the best ways to do that, to understand a system that oftentimes, doesn't really understand people who look like me. And I wanted to get involved. I wanted to learn the game, and I wanted to use that to help people and to help myself and to help my family and to help my friends and anybody else who I come in contact with. So yeah, that was a driving force.
Yeah, get involved and learn the game, because you can't play the game if you don't know the rules, right?
Exactly.
And, was there any particular moment or situation or incident where you were like, I need to know my rights. Let me go be a lawyer? Or somebody I've encountered got into a situation and it could have been easy peasy if they knew their rights?
Well, I think first and foremost, what ultimately encouraged me was my grandmother, Gloria Pearson. She was very involved in the community, very involved with the community development corporations or CDCs in the area. She went to city council meetings. She went to the Night Out Against Crimes. I mean, she was just very much in the mix. And so she took me along with her in her endeavors, and I met a lot of people, and I just thought that people were cool.
Yeah.
As a kid, you don't fully understand, but I just knew that there were these people who were really energetic about serving the community and, did stuff for kids. And so that was just my first taste. Second taste was as a student in Cleveland Metropolitan School District and looking around and seeing how the education system was set up. I had a great experience in that, in my CMSD education. But there were certain things that I realized and had questions about, and I think that then directed my attention to policy making in high school. And I wondered about the policy making process as it related specifically to education at that time. So then that led me to look, it brought me back around to the law. And I said, maybe I should think about or consider this thing called law and figuring out what that means. And then once I went that direction and explored the various ways that law had a hand in everything that we do, I said, I can't go wrong doing this. So that's what brought me here.
Awesome. And so also, before we go to our first break, why Legal Aid Society? Why'd you join up with these crazy folks?
Oh no, crazy for change and crazy for helping impoverished communities and communities that have been left behind. That's what we're crazy about doing. I love working for and with the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. They approach everything from the lens of justice, and really evaluating the inequities that have placed people or caused people to be in the situations that they're in. And so our main cause is just to afford that access to justice in every way possible, whether, just not only with the legal services, but with Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, we attempt to and do connect our clients with other social services, whether that be, connecting you with mental health services, assisting you with your benefits, and any other, issue that our clients may be facing that may not be directly related to the legal issue in which brought them there.
Yeah. Awesome. So we are speaking with attorney Anastasia Elders, one of the fine folks, crazy for justice, crazy for helping people over at Legal Aid Society. I like what you said, affording access to justice for all people. That's what Legal Aid Society about. And so we are talking, I didn't even mention, we're talking about housing today.
We are.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, and we're going to remind you all about the Right to Counsel program and when we come back from the break and also during the break. But if you have any questions and you want to call in live and talk with Anastasia Elder, attorney at law, please call us at 216-271-0959, 216-271-0959. And in the meantime, in between time, check out the website lasclev.org, lasclev.org, Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. Woo, we'll be right back with our new attorney friend Anastasia Elder when we return to Our Voices Today, Life and the Law, right here on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Attention listeners. The special congressional primary election will take place on Tuesday, August 3rd, and early in-person voting has begun. Mark your calendars for these important dates. Monday, August 2nd, the last day to postmark your absentee ballot. Tuesday, August 3rd at 7:30 p.m., the last day to return your absentee ballot. Your vote matters. Visit the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections online at 443vote.us to check your status and to request an absentee ballot for the upcoming special congressional primary election, which will take place on Tuesday, August 3rd. Visit online at 443vote.us. This important message is brought to you by the League of Women Voters and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Are you a renter in Cleveland and facing eviction? WOVU 95.9 FM, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and the Legal Aid Society wants you to know that you have rights. Certain Cleveland families have the right to an attorney in eviction cases. If you rent your home in Cleveland, have any kids living in that home, and meet low-income guidelines, free help is available. If you think you qualify, contact Legal Aid immediately at 216-687-1900. That's 216-687-1900. You can also apply by dialing 211 on your phone. After a quick screening, you'll know if you can get a lawyer's help for free. Learn more at freeevictionhelp.org. That's freeevictionhelp.org. This message is brought to you by the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland, the United Way of Greater Cleveland, and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Time to make the short story longer, yeah. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
All right, we are back. You are tuned in to Our Voices Today, this edition of Life and the Law. We are here with our new friend from Legal Aid Society, Anastasia Elder. She is an attorney, and we're talking about housing today. So, Anastasia, before we get real deep into it, let's remind our listeners, as we just heard on the last message from the 211 Right to Counsel program. Yeah, talk to us about that for a little bit.
Yeah, so Right to Counsel is a program that came out of legislation that was passed in the end of 2019. It essentially does exactly what it says. It gives people a right to have an attorney, Cleveland tenants specifically, a right to counsel in an eviction case. Mm-hmm. As long as you have at least one child in the home and you fall within some federal poverty guidelines, you do qualify for our program. After it was passed in 2019, it took effect in July of 2020,
Crazy.
Which also so happened to be the time when the city lifted its local moratorium on evictions. Mm-hmm. And so at that time, the courts were opening back up. The program was, underway at that time, and we've just been serving tenants in Cleveland ever since.
Yeah, right on time. It kicked in.
Yeah, right on time, and to think that the program was in the works pre-pandemic.
That's right.
A pandemic wasn't even in mind. Legal Aid in partnership with United Way, and stemming out of a partnership also with Sisters of Charity. There was a need, or we recognized a need for assistance in housing, to come up with a way to get stronger housing stability in the city, and a right to counsel we found would be that way to give to allow people to have a right to it. It's not you have a right to it.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, if you have the money, you can get it, but everyone, like you said, what other way is there to say it? You have a right to it, TC.
Well, and to bring it more into perspective, I mean, we all know that in criminal cases, right, if you can't afford an attorney,
one will be appointed for you.
One will be appointed.
We all
to
watch
you.
Law and Order.
But that same concept doesn't apply in all civil cases. And again, this legislation allows for people to have that kind of access. And we find that people will show up when they have an attorney. When you have an attorney, we can oftentimes identify some issues that a tenant may not be able to identify. And of course, it also gives you a little bit, extra confidence that your situation will be better.
Yeah, showing up to a hearing, an eviction hearing, when you have an attorney, when you feel like you have that support and you're not alone. Because what typically happens with these eviction cases? Do people show up typically, or is there a no-show on the defendant side, and is there a judgment ruled against them because they're not there?
Well, now that we have this right to counsel program, a lot more tenants are showing up in court, which was one of the goals of the program. I can say confidently that prior to a right to counsel program, we did see that a lot of tenants were just simply not showing up, and that's half the battle. Sometimes is just showing up.
Right. Because when you show up, what happens?
So you show up. You get a chance to have your side of the story heard. If you don't show up, then no one hears it, and
your voice.
You may find your voice, and you may find yourself in a situation where a judgment is granted, and at that point it's solely because you didn't show up. Whereas now, that's not to say that you may not still get a judgment. There are certain situations, but oftentimes with an attorney, there may be other ways to help you resolve your case. Having some conversations with the landlord, or if there's opposing counsel on the other side, or identifying some procedural issues, just to walk you through the eviction process, and to kind of talk about informal versus formal evictions.
Sure, yeah.
For a formal eviction, you would have, and this is just speaking generally, a tenant would have to receive the proper notice, and after receiving that proper notice, oftentimes then court papers would be received, and then you would have a court date, and then you would show up, and then the hearing would go forward. That is the only way in which a formal eviction process can begin, is if you get these proper notices and you get court papers.
Okay.
If there is another way in which a landlord is acting or attempting to get you out of the property that's other than, again, having served you a notice and you receiving court papers, that's inappropriate. Landlords cannot lock you out. Landlords cannot shut off your utilities and those things. We call those informal evictions. And whether a tenant receives a 3-day notice or some other notice, or whether these informal eviction actions are being taken against them, I encourage anyone going through those situations to contact legal aid so that you can talk with an attorney and help you determine what's
the right
next.
Steps. Yeah. Because even when you get in touch with someone to help you, it could keep you from even reaching the courts. Like there may be something that could be worked out between you and your landlord, between the two attorneys, that could keep you, from having to go that far. Yeah,
and while we're on the topic, communication is so essential in landlord-tenant relationships.
Right.
Be open. If something has happened in your finances or in your life that, for example, prevents you from being able to make your rent payment that month.
Yeah.
Reach out to the landlord, reach out to legal aid. Just having those conversations and being open about it is very, very, very helpful.
Yeah.
Reaching out and seeing what resources are out there. If anyone contacts legal aid, not only will we assist you with a legal issue, if it rises to the level of being a legal issue, but we also are in the business of connecting you with other resources. With the Right to Counsel program, since we are assisting tenants, oftentimes we are connecting people with resources in the community to assist with rent assistance, for rent assistance or utility assistance or any other housing related need, whether that be through Cleveland Housing Network, CHN, or Eden, or some other partnership that we are aware of.
Yeah, because when you're having trouble paying your rent, you're most likely having trouble with some other things in life.
Yeah. And as we've seen with the pandemic, a lot of people have been laid off or lost their jobs, or due to fear of the pandemic, maybe they quit their jobs. People, children are, children are going back to school, but for a long time, and even still, they are doing school from home, and parents are being tasked with trying to figure out going to work, not going to work. How do I assist my child with their schooling while also meeting the needs of my family? And that can be hard. And we realize that at Legal Aid. And again, by reaching out to us in our intake line, we could, definitely seek to provide some assistance in those areas.
Yeah. And the Right to Counsel program, so invaluable. But like we were talking about in getting ready for the show, eviction, it's not a new thing. It's not going away anytime soon. And it didn't just happen because of the pandemic. What resources or how can legal aid help if a person doesn't qualify perhaps for a right to counsel? Like, what if I don't have a child in my home, but I am facing eviction? Can I still get help from legal aid?
Yes, definitely. So, like I said, right to counsel is very specific to that one child in the home and being eligible for legal aid services. However, we don't just automatically turn you away. I mean, our housing group still may be in a position to advise you in some way. So don't be discouraged if you don't necessarily qualify for right to counsel. You may qualify for some other service. So please still reach out to us, explain your situation, and even if we can't assist for whatever reason, we are in a better position to at least try to get you connected with someone who can.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can connect with Legal Aid Society here in Cleveland by calling 216-687-1900, 216-687-1900. Look, and if you speak Spanish, there's a line for you. It's 216-586-3190. I could say all those numbers in Espanol, but I will spare y'all that horror. But if you speak Spanish or know anyone who speaks Spanish and they need help from Legal Aid Society, have them call 216-586-3190. Here with us today is attorney Anastasia Elder. She's part of the housing work group at Legal Aid Society here in Cleveland. Here to help you, with any housing issues, particularly eviction that you have. But if you have any questions for Anastasia, give us a call, 216-271-0959. So many numbers, 216-271-0959, and she'll be happy to, or we'll see if she can answer it and on the air. But if you are shy, feel free to send me a text message to the WOVU talkback line. Send a text to 216-200-7848. More with Life and the Law. Our friends from Legal Aid Society are here at WOVU. This is Our Voices Today. We'll be right back.
Lose those shackles and break those chains. Now who is gonna stop you from being a man? Stand for something.
Should you be listening to WOVU 95.9 FM?
Yeah!
That's right, because all we want to do is help you. Any situation in your life, we can help you make it better. Whether it's education, housing, jobs, careers, finance, entrepreneurship, health, legal issues, we have got your back and then some. So you got to keep it locked to WOVU 95.9 FM 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. This is WOVU 95.9, Our Voices United, and it's Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Attention drivers. For over a year, the state of Ohio has allowed the use of expired licenses and vehicle registration due to the pandemic, leading to the closure of thousands of Bureau of Motor Vehicles locations. However, Ohio ended this grace period on July 1st, which means that you may receive a ticket worth hundreds of dollars if you are found driving with expired information. Therefore, it is imperative to renew yours as soon as possible. Hundreds of thousands of Ohioans will also be renewing, which means long lines and time spent standing in the baking sun and pouring rain. But you have options to renew. Go online to bmv.ohio.gov to learn how. Do not delay. If you have an expired driver's license or vehicle registration, renew your information as soon as possible to avoid hundreds of dollars in tickets. Visit an Ohio BMV in person or online at bmv.ohio.gov. This also goes for parking. All of those free parking meters on the streets will be going away too, so be sure to drop those quarters in so that your car doesn't get the boot. Renew your license and registration ASAP and pay to park on the streets during posted hours. This important message is brought to you by WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Car community radio station.
It's time to make the short story longer. Yeah. Stand up, my people. Stand for something in your life. Stand up, my people.
All right, welcome back to Our Voices Today. This edition is Life and the Law, Conversations About Your Rights, brought to you by Legal Aid Society of Cleveland and WOVU. And here with us from Legal Aid Society, attorney Anastasia Elder, talking to us about your rights concerning housing, reminding you that the Right to Counsel program is available for those who are facing eviction. You have a child in the home, pick up the phone and dial 211. United Way's call for help, and they will connect you with Legal Aid Society's Right to Counsel program, perhaps even to our friend Anastasia here. And so we are happy to have her with us in studio. What a wonderful thing to be able to be face to face with people again.
I know, right?
I think I'm saying this every day this week because I have to get used to it.
Right.
Yeah. So here we are. And again, Legal Aid Society, find them online, lasclev.org, or you can call 216-687-1900. And listen, if you have a question, don't hesitate to call, because they'll say, I can help you, or we can't. And if we can't, we'll point you in the right direction, right?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, absolutely. So we're talking about, of course, housing. The CDC moratorium on evictions. What's the status on that? Because that was helping a lot of people remain in their homes while they were trying to figure out finance during the height of the pandemic. Where are we with that now?
Yeah, so it is still in effect, and as of now, it is set to expire the end of July 31st, 2021. But backing up just a little bit, the CDC eviction moratorium first came into being last September.
Okay.
And the purpose of it was, as you said, to assist with keeping people in their homes for the purpose of being within a pandemic and to try to avoid the further spread of COVID-19. Right. Now, I think what was misunderstood a bit about it is that it automatically applied. I think a lot of people thought, oh, there's this eviction moratorium and, I won't be evicted. Well, that's not exactly how it works. So it does apply to certain tenants. And in order for it to apply to you, you have to give your landlord what's called a CDC declaration. Right. And it's essentially a paper that says that you do qualify for the protections under it. Now, in order, to qualify for these protections, you would have to have been someone being evicted. You would have to say that you applied for some kind of rental assistance. So as I mentioned earlier, whether that be through CHN or Eden or some other organization, you could at least say, yes, I sought some rent assistance. A person would have had to have lost income for whatever reason. Maybe it's COVID related, maybe it's not, but you lost income, and because of that, you are now unable to pay your rent in full and on time. And if you were evicted, you'd either be homeless or be forced to live with someone. And if you could accurately, say that applied to you, then you would then be afforded the protections of the CDC moratorium. Now, a lot of jurisdictions are doing a lot of different things, or they're handling it differently. But in Cleveland, if you can say, I gave this declaration to my landlord, I do qualify for it, I'm seeking rent assistance, I'm trying to stay in my home, then it applies to you. But like I said, it expires the end of July, and I don't know at this point. I'm unaware of any information that says it's going to be extended. Now, it has been extended a few times before. Like I said, this came into being last September. But as of now, it's going to expire. Yeah,
because it was set to expire, I believe, in March. And then it got extended until the end of this month.
Right, that's correct. So that's the status of it at this time. I would say even if it is expiring, still seek that the rental help. Assistance. Yeah. Still seek the help. Still, talk with your landlord, about whether, there is an opportunity for you to stay in the home. Please seek legal assistance from legal aid still, even with this, we have 2 more weeks of it. But there's still a lot of help out there, and I encourage everyone listening to seek that help.
Still a lot of help out there. Call legal aid right now, 216-687-1900, 216-687-1900. They are waiting for you until 4 o'clock today, right? Monday, Wednesday, Thursday from 9 to 4, or Tuesday and Thursday from 9 to 2. All right, that's a little confusing. Don't worry about it, but just call the number. Just call the number, 216-687-1900. So part of the CDC requirements for putting that in place for your protection was that you have sought out rent assistance. And regardless of the moratorium, we can always seek out rental assistance to help pay our rent. Where can we go? You mentioned CHN Eden.
Yeah, so CHN Housing Partners, don't quote me, I believe it's CHNHousingPartners.org.
Okay.
And or NEO Rent Help.
NEO Rent Help.
Which still falls under the umbrella of CHN.
Okay.
So you can go on their website and complete an application online. That may be the fastest way to complete an application. You can also call them, though. And someone will assist you in completing the application on the phone. If you don't have access to a computer or a phone, they can definitely assist you in that. But also contacting legal aid, we do have a special partnership with them, and we can assist, in the completion of that application. We can also follow up on that application, and to make for sure that the process is going through.
Yeah, and something related to that you were talking to me about was, once you get in touch with an organization that is providing help for you, and you get information or you get a resource, you said don't stop there.
Right, don't stop there. Tell everyone that you know. Tell all of your family members, tell your friends, tell strangers who you overheard a conversation. Spread the information, arming yourself with the resources and spreading the word really is a major help, not only for yourself but for the community at large. It's no good if the information is not getting out.
That's
so
right.
Do what you have to do to get that information out so that you may help somebody else.
Yeah, because you're never the only one in any particular situations. Be an advocate for yourself, says attorney Anastasia Elder. She is here rocking with us, having conversation about housing, your rights to housing. One of the things that you mentioned that's kind of on the front of the top of the list for your clients is housing conditions. Yeah. What's housing conditions, and when do we need to get in touch with legal representation in those types of scenarios? But what are the scenarios?
Yeah, so conditions issues is a major issue that at least I know I have seen, and I know I can confidently say that my colleagues have seen these as well. By conditions issues, I mean certain repairs may have needed to be made in the home. Maybe there are some leaks. Maybe there, some cracking in the floor. Maybe there's some peeling of paint. Maybe the stairs are caving in. I don't know. There's a plethora of things I could go down. But, landlords have an obligation by law to make these repairs. Now, tenants are also, should be notifying these landlords, and I would encourage anyone to put that notice in writing so that the landlord is aware and that you essentially have a paper trail.
Document everything.
Document everything. That's the lawyer in me, and it makes my job easier. They should, those repairs should be made, and they can create some hazardous situations for a lot of tenants. And there are ways to go about addressing the issues. First and foremost, I want to tell all the tenants who are listening that not paying your rent because of the conditions is not the correct legal way to go about it. I'm not saying I don't understand how you feel. I do. Right. But there are other processes in place. For instance, if you are, caught up in rent, so not behind, and you want to start paying your rent into the court, you can, deposit your rent with the court. And there are certain processes that commence at that time, right, in an effort to try to get the repairs to be made. Okay. I think there are other ways that we could go about it depending on your case also. But definitely bring those up to a legal aid attorney, and we can talk to you about the ways that we may consider in resolving your case.
So conditions, what if you created the condition and it needs to be repaired? Is that the landlord's responsibility? Like, I punched a hole in the wall and now there's bugs coming in.
You'll probably be charged for it. I don't encourage anyone to damage their own property.
Correct.
Let's say that. I encourage open communication, period. So I think everyone should be honest about whatever, is happening in the home. Now,
and sometimes that's hard because it could be like a little embarrassing. Like, first of all, I don't like people coming into my space, whether your family or a landlord. I don't care. But I know sometimes, your situation is such, you don't want people to see, you have a problem, but you don't want people to see what your house look like. But you're saying, I think you got to get over it. And communicate.
Yeah, communication is half the battle in life, and I'm gonna encourage everyone to just be open about it. It's like going to someone's house, you break a glass. You're probably a little embarrassed about it, but you have to say something. They may charge you for that glass, they may not. But just be open about it. Whether you caused it or whether the home may have already been like that, or maybe you moved in and everything seemed okay, and then suddenly your ceiling falls through.
Yeah.
I think that, it's really within the purview of the tenant to decide whether they're worried about someone seeing their home or if they want the condition fixed.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me get us back on track because, my mind takes us to crazy places. So depositing your rent with the court, isn't that called putting it in escrow? And so we can't just, like, if we don't like our landlord, we're not just going to go and put our money our rent with the court. They won't accept it, right? It's got to be
a good basis to put it. I think that if there's differences, if you will, between you and your landlord, it's still a business. No one, I'm not saying that tenants and landlords have to be best friends, but I think that the relationship should be cordial enough for the business of the property, the exchange of rent, the notice of repairs that need to be done, or anything else having to do with the property. It's a business. So if you can keep the communication cordial and respectful and open, then I think that landlords and tenants are likely to have a better relationship, even if that means you're not necessarily friends.
Yeah.
But don't withhold rent because you just don't like each other. Or don't not make repairs, landlords, because you dislike your tenant for some reason.
That's that's frowned upon.
It is, and
that
that could raise further larger issues that we may not want to necessarily get into right now. But communication. Communication
is key. Be an advocate for yourself and know the law, know your rights, because you can't play the game successfully unless you know the rules. And that's what we are doing with our Life and the Law segments here on Our Voices Today, having those conversations about your rights with legal professionals from the Legal Aid Society. Today with us is Anastasia Elder, an attorney, here to help you in many capacities, but her specialty with Legal Aid Society is housing. And we'll be right back with more on Our Voices Today on WOVU 95.9 FM.
Where could we have been? What could we have had? Yeah, it's time to lose those shackles and break those chains. Now who is gonna stop you from being a man? Stand for something. Why don't you open your eyes? Stand up for what you know is right. Stand up, my people. We're slowly dying.
Attention listeners. The special congressional primary election will take place on Tuesday, August 3rd, and early in-person voting has begun. Mark your calendars for these important dates. Monday, August 2nd, the last day to postmark your absentee ballot. Tuesday, August 3rd at 7:30 p.m., the last day to return your absentee ballot. Your vote matters. Visit the Cuyahoga County Board of Elections online at 443vote.us to check your status and to request an absentee ballot for the upcoming special congressional primary election, which will take place on Tuesday, August 3rd. Visit online at 443vote.us. This important message is brought to you by the League of Women Voters and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
It's time to make the short story longer.
Yeah, so we are back in a flash because I wanted to make sure that we got in a caller. So remember, whenever we are on the air live, you can call us 216-271-0959 and ask a question or make a comment. Share your love with us here at WOVU. So we are talking about life and the law in the realm of housing. Legal Aid Society attorney Anastasia Elder is here with us, and we have a caller on the line. Hi, who's there?
Yes, this is LG Trotter calling from the Mount Pleasant area, and I'd like to know, what do you do when your landlord won't give you your lease? I've been asking this landlord for my lease for the last 7-8 months.
Okay, what do you do when your landlord won't give you a lease, Attorney Elder?
Well, thank you for your question, sir. I think that, keeping that communication open. I know it seems like you may have already inquired about it and you're not getting it for whatever reason. I would encourage you to take it a step further and perhaps contact legal aid to see if you can speak with an attorney about touching base with your landlord to obtain the necessary documents for your living situation. So again, keep the communication open, make sure it's respectful and consistent. But if that is not working, then again, I would encourage anyone who is having trouble communicating with the landlord and specifically having trouble obtaining documents to contact legal aid to see if that extra nudge and assistance of an attorney may help you.
So I can come down to legal aid, because basically my situation is I'm on disability, I'm disabled, and I can't get I can't get any type of public assistance for housing or rental assistance without a lease.
No, yeah, I completely understand. So at this time, we are not taking walk-in intakes. And so I would encourage you to contact our intake department at 216-687-1900. Explain your situation to our intake team, who would be in the best position to direct you in the way that you need to go. And I know you mentioned a lease, but you also mentioned having issues with with some other things. And keep in mind, to all our listeners, that legal aid can assist or may be in a position to assist you with benefits or any other services that you've been seeking. So yeah, call our intake line and we'll be sure to assist.
Okay, thank you very much. CC, hold that for me. I'll be to get it.
I will. I'll see you soon. Thank you so much for calling in. And
have a blessed day.
Thank you.
You too.
And along those lines, Anastasia, how important is it to have like a physical lease? Because I know in other conversations, I remember, I guess an agreement, like if you're paying your rent, that means you have an agreement, whether it's written or verbal. Talk to us about the importance of a lease and like what that actually, means.
So it's a bit of a complicated situation, but not all leases are written. You know, oftentimes I'm asking my clients, do you have an oral lease, something that you just discussed with your landlord, and between the two of you, you set terms and it's just understood. That's a valid kind of lease. I would, I prefer written, as I've stated.
Yes.
I like something in written, but not all leases are written. But if for instance, if a tenant understands that they were supposed to have a written lease, and they just haven't received it, then it may be important. And like the gentleman who just called in just stated, there are certain services that may require something in writing, and even if someone
like when you're registering for a child for school, they need a copy of the lease,
right? And sometimes they'll, and this is, each organization determines how they want to handle it. But I have seen organizations, if you have an oral lease, something that was discussed, then to reduce it into writing.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. But it's not all leases are written, so I wouldn't be too fearful if you don't have a written lease. Just make for sure that regardless, that the terms of that agreement are understood by both parties.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because if if there it kind of feels like if there's no lease or written document, then your landlord or the property owner can kind of just do or say whatever.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Okay.
Whereas if it's written, there's really not much disagreement that can be within the four corners of the document.
Writing is important, y'all. Documentation is important, and even especially in this climate where houses have been in various stages, of sale, foreclosure, turnover, and there's still people living inside of them. That documentation is important, especially like you said, having that mutual understanding and that avenue of communication, which a lease does provide. That is a record of communication.
Right.
So, anything else that we need to know that's coming up? I see you take a sip of your nice, fresh Pellegrino water, staying hydrated, y'all.
Gotta stay hydrated. It's supposed to be 88 today.
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be hot.
You can't tell from being in the WOVU studio. It's a tepid 70 degrees at all times over here, which means it's a little chilly, but we are good because we want to keep this equipment cooled off so we can continue to provide such important conversations like these with you, our precious listening audience. So anything coming up that you want us that we need to know?
Maybe not coming up, but just to leave a lasting impression with you. If you are struggling in some way, shape, or form, do not wait to the last minute to seek help. Know that there is help out there. If it's specifically related to housing, Again, remember there's rent assistance out there through CHN, Eden. Check with your local church and any other local organization within your neighborhood to see if there's assistance out there. Contact the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland. If you're not sure if it's a legal issue or you're having trouble with certain other benefits, contact us and we can, again, assist you or direct you to someone who can. Again, don't wait to the last minute. Visit our website. In addition to our main website, you can also go to freeevictionhelp.org to learn a little bit more about the Right to Counsel program and what we seek to do and what resources are out there. If you think that you qualify for the CDC eviction moratorium, which again expires at the end of the month, you can visit our website to obtain the declaration form and review the requirements to see if you qualify and give that to your landlord. And yeah, just know that you're not alone, and that organizations and people are out and available and want to assist. So reach out. We're always happy to help you with your housing situation and any other situation that you may be facing. We're always available. And again, give us a call. We're currently not taking walk-ins right now due to the fact that we're still in a pandemic, but please give us a call, get connected, and we hope to be able to help you.
Yeah, don't walk in, but call on in. And that number to call, that's right, 216-687-1900. Just think 1900, 216-687-1900. And before we go, I have a question for you related to the pandemic, the COVID-19 vaccine. What's the vibe, the whispers, the air around requiring individuals for whatever reason to be vaccinated?
Well, I'm unaware of requirements because we live in a pretty free country.
Yes.
But what I would encourage, and this is not my expertise, but I would encourage for listeners to contact your physician and talk to them about your concerns, whether that be if you're required to get it or not, if you have some reservations or concerns about effects or anything like that. I would encourage you to speak to your physician about those concerns, or community health center who would be in a better position to address those issues. But
well, is there anything like on the radar, like legally speaking, where all the attorneys are gathering together to gear up for this legal battle of people, suing each other over this vaccine and having to have it for a job or even to attend an event?
I'm unaware. Yeah. My practice is narrow and specific to housing. But I mean, people get sued every day, so I don't doubt that companies are are facing some concerns over the pandemic, but I'm not aware. I don't have that info.
Okay. All right. So as far as we know, the Secret League of Legal Professionals have not convened their official meeting to get ready for all of the vaccination, I don't know, lawsuits.
Legal aid is in it for the people. We're just serving the people and trying to make for sure that everybody is afforded, and has access to the justice that they rightfully deserve.
That's right. Affording access to justice. That's what the Legal Aid Society is all about. Thank you so much, Attorney Anastasia Elder, for joining us for this edition of Life and the Law on our Voices Today on WOVU. Again, people listening, make sure if you have a legal issue, particularly if you're facing eviction, pick up the phone right now and dial 211 for the Right to Counsel program. United Way will connect you to Legal Aid Society. But if you want to contact them directly, the number is 216-687-1900. Thanks again, Anastasia. Thank you, Aaron. And all of y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Absolutely. See you next time.
Stand up, my people.
Yo, Cleveland!
I got COVID, and you already know this, but I will tell you again, you do not want it. It's whack. It's terrible.
Well, I got vaccinated and call me Lizzo because we feeling good.
Get educated, get vaccinated.
Listen, it's free and super easy. Click the link in the bio to get more information. Also, when you get vaccinated, you get a free card. Can't beat that.
This is brought to you by Jesus and Mero and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
WOVU LP Cleveland.
The Alcohol and Drug Addiction and Mental Health Services Board, also known as the Adams Board of Cuyahoga County, wants everyone to stay safe. If the stress of the pandemic is overwhelming, help is available. Call the 24-hour crisis hotline at 216-623-6888. That's 216-623-6888. If you are using drugs, remember all drugs may contain the highly addictive substance fentanyl. Please test your drugs and never use drugs alone. Carry Narcan in case you are witness to an overdose. And call the 24-hour crisis and referral hotline when you are ready for help. It's 216-623-6888. Again, it's 216-623-6888. This message is brought to you by the Adams Board of Cuyahoga County and WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton Bell Carr Community Radio.
Hi, this is Joy Johnson, Executive Director of Burton Bell Carr Development, also referred to as BBC. When you hear BBC, you may think of the British Broadcasting Company. We are actually named for 3 community leaders who served the Central and Kinsman neighborhoods in the past: Lonnie Burton, James Bell, and Charles V. Carr. Residents of the Central and Kinsman neighborhoods may be familiar with those names because we have the Lonnie Burton Recreation Center, we have Charles Carr Avenue in Garden Valley, we have the James Bell Pool on East 71st Street in Central. Many of our residents were alive when those 3 leaders served the community. Folks outside of the community sometimes think we're a law firm, a CPA, or that Burton, Bell, or Carr are people who work here and founded the organization. They were all deceased when Burton Bell Carr was founded in 1990, and the organization was named to honor their contributions to the neighborhoods. So now you know who we are: Burton Bell Carr Development.